Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi,
Buon anno nuovo.
everybody.
Wow,
New Year.
Oh, we got a lot of people tonight.
Yeah.
Everyone roll in.
it's a party.
Wow, this is awesome.
What a party.
A lot of familiar faces.
See, yeah. So I think there's one more person in there, I think. Oh, there's Kendra.
Neely, show us your cast. Show us your cast.
Oh,
Oh, no.
no. I know, it's my right hand too.
What happened, Neely?
I fell roller skating.
Oh no.
Yeah, I fell on my butt, but my hand was in the way. So,
Yeah, that happened to me before. too.
yeah.
It's an honorable
Yeah.
injury.
Except it's my right one. So, like, all my plans of things to do over Christmas, can't do any of it. But I'm supposed to get this off next Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
That was
Good.
fast.
Yay.
So fingers crossed, I have approval. I mean, I've been doing things. I just can't do a lot of heavier things. Can't write, it's hard to type, that kind of stuff, like everyday things.
Did you have surgery, Neely?
No. Oh, don't use the S word.
I broke mine 3 years ago, and it just takes time.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
it's a real drag, and it was my right hand as well.
Oh, that's the word. Yeah. So I'll be in a brace, but I don't know for how long. But the brace is removable at least, which will at least make me feel like I'm somewhat normal. And I've gotten much better at asking for help.
Oh, Neely broke her wrist.
Which is important. I've always been really terrible at that, but lovely people like Jenny jumped in to help. She made me Christmas cookies because I couldn't cook.
Oh,
That was fun.
do you have to break your
Delicious.
arm to get Christmas cookies around here?
Yes. Yes, you do. Or a leg. Oh, no, leg. You can cook your own cookies if you break your leg. Wow, it's so great to see everyone here. We're at 25.
Wow.
So I guess it's that's probably what we're gonna get, which is okay with me. Thanks for coming, everyone. It is so good to see you all. And for season 6 of our show and tells.
I think I'm unclear on like the seasons. Are they just like a new round as a season, right? Like every day is a new season around here.
Yeah, like, on Netflix, it's like a show, S1, E1.
Yeah. And we're waiting to get picked up by Netflix. It's gonna happen.
I'm sure. Then we can afford to pay someone for a really good something. Anyway, okay. So Vince, do you have any EBPCO news or things that you would like to talk about first?
Not much, except to say, wow, wonderful to see everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Jenny, for running season 6. We'll put up the sign-up sheet for the upcoming show and tells, so that'll get in the chat. So if you want to participate and be a presenter at future show and tells, there's a very special one 2 weeks from today, which happens to be my birthday. And so that is show me your best work.
Do we have to make the cookies?
It's kind of a BYOC. So I think that one is full, but we've got a really terrific slate.
We have one space left.
Oh, okay. So I would absolutely love anyone to jump on and join on that. I just really want to see. Okay, you got to get on there. I just want to see some work, see your ideas, see what you're doing, and then the rest of the lineup is coming up with some really great hosts. Other EBPCO news, we are going to planning for the current year and putting together the other programs that we've got. And I certainly want to welcome any any new participants, anyone who's here for the first time, welcome. Certainly everyone who donated at the end of the year. We just got a really nice raft of donations at the end of the year. It's just fantastic. If you're not getting the newsletters, let me know. If you have ideas for what you'd like to see in the way of programs or workshops or talks or events in the coming year, let me know. I'm Vince at epco.org. So just, I'd love to hear your ideas. And Anita, co-executive director, any thoughts, comments?
Not currently, no. I mean, it's all going to come out in the newsletter and in the socials. We've got some plans in the works, like you mentioned. But yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, it's just wonderful to see everybody. Let's get to the meat of the matter.
All right. So an update on this. Oh, she's already removed herself. Nicole could not make it. So we've got 9 people, although I feel like there's a number missing there. Okay. I added a couple spaces because it is just one picture per. So just one picture from New Year's Day I wanted, and I will start, and let me make sure that I have the right thing up in the right place. Yes, I do. Okay, so I'll share my screen. As you can see, I'm trying to show 4, but I won't.
Maybe we could go around and around, like we get through everybody's 9, then we can go around a second time.
Yeah. So there we go. I guess this
Where's the picture?
It's not open
Yeah,
yet.
No, I just see your screen.
We're
In
seeing
the finder.
I see your available megabytes.
Uh-oh, that's scary.
No, I'm sorry. That place was clean as
All right.
in New York.
Sorry, guys, right off the bat. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be show and tell if there wasn't some snafu.
Yeah.
right, you're just making everybody else look good, right? Brian,
Kenny, I'm sure I'll join you.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try this one more time. How embarrassing. Just kidding. Okay.
No, never.
there you go.
Okay, can you see
Yeah.
my,
Yes.
now you're
Yeah.
looking at my desktop, right?
Yep.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's my picture.
Okay.
Is that a service bell?
The lamp.
It is a desk lamp, probably like from the 40s or something.
I love it.
Um,
I love the fact that it's in black and white, and it just has a real, it sort of looks like it's from the 40s, you know?
some of you might know this about me, but I like old things. And not just old photography, but stuff too. So anyway, that's that. And then that was actually just kind of when I woke up in the morning, that's what I saw. And I was like, I better take this picture right now, because if I get nothing else, like, I don't know what's going to come out when. And I also
Yeah.
have been pondering, like, I moved my bedroom around and I have a different view when I wake up, and and it's so beautiful. I've been wanting to photograph it, but this is just like a desk by the window there. And I thought, what the hell?
Jenny, there's a texture to it that goes through the shades and through the whole thing.
Yeah, so okay, the shades do have a texture to them. They have this pattern, they're like woven, I am really, really pretty new to scanning negatives, but this is a 35 millimeter negative and it's just super grainy. I mean, I think I think it's as simple as that.
Totally adds to it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It
Lovely. It's so quiet.
Yeah, it does kind of add to it. It's funny. I was actually on the phone or on the text with Steve earlier today with some issues with negatives. And this is not that issue, but it looks like it could be related.
You know, I really like how the shadow on the shade behind it kind of comes out from the bell of the lamp itself. It's almost like it's anti-lighting, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But
It's also very off.
just the composition with that and the light above it, just really nice.
I also really like that none of the lines are perfectly straight. You know, like if it was just one or two, it would be different, but like even the line that intersects in the front is
Yeah.
at an angle. And then if you go up the left side, that's at an angle. And then the blinds themselves, because they're open a little bit, are a little bit at an angle. So, and then the lampshade itself is a little bit at an angle. So
funky.
everything's kind of cockeyed, and it's almost as if that's how you feel when you first wake up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're kind of cockeyed and you're just sort of, you know, nothing is quite straight yet because you haven't had your first cup of coffee or whatever it is you need to wake up.
It's very pre-coffee.
Yes. I'm also a fan of pictures, making pictures from bed.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is always, yeah, you're seeing something with very fresh eyes. And I think that there's something really interesting about that as either a one-off or even a series.
Neil, I think that's an interesting idea, that's a moment where we're looking at the world anew. And I wonder if, you know, in general, I know I definitely don't really take advantage of that time in the morning to pay attention to how I'm experiencing the morning. I'm usually in such a hurry to get through the morning and get on. But yeah, that time is when we wake up is one of those times when we're just
I like
maybe
that.
more open. Yeah.
I like that too.
What really draws to me is like how the position of the switch is so the wrong way around. And you know, if that's the switch you reach for, it's on the wrong side.
But what if I'm right-handed?
I guess, but I love how it pops out. I mean, everything on my nightstand is wrong way, so I know I have to get up to get it.
Oh, right, yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna cut myself off here and let's see, I gotta get out of full screen here. Okay. So next we've got Kendra.
Oh,
hi, Kendra.
Hi.
Happy
Hey,
New
Kendra.
Year.
Hi, Happy New Year, everyone. This is the very first time. No, it's my first online show and tell participating.
Yay.
I figured one image was what I could do. It's like, that seemed
Good.
reasonable.
That
Let's
was
see if we can make it
hopefully the point. No pressure.
Yeah.
And folks, if you haven't met Kendra, she's the EBPCO member coordinator.
That's me.
And she's Kendra.
And I'm Kendra. And I'm trying
It's
to
Kendra.
figure out. Okay, let's see what happens. What happens if I do? Oh, this. Okay. I'm sorry. Part of me, this being the first time having done this, so it says I can't host disabled participating screen sharing.
Oh, okay. One moment. I'm new.
Yeah.
Anita, did you do it, Anita? Can you do it now, Kendra?
I don't seem to have permission.
Will you ask the host to give you permission? No, I don't want to record. Close. Hold on.
Oops.
Screen sharing. It still says it's disabled.
Okay,
you have
give
to
me one
permission.
second here. I'm gonna
Is there a security tab at the bottom, Jenny?
advance
button.
sharing. I've got it here.
Okay.
One part. Okay.
Should we try now? Oh,
All
there we go.
right. Go, you can go.
Okay. Desktop.
Sorry about that.
Okay, that's all right. Sure. Okay, no. Okay. Okay, now I'm having to figure out how, okay, I didn't, how do you do this? Screen, no, I don't want to screen record. Sorry,
It happens to all of us the first
Don't
time
worry
you
about it.
screen
Yeah.
share.
hold this up. How do I, what are we doing here? Location. What is photos? Okay. Okay.
Anybody else watching
Oh.
the Georgia returns?
Oh, I'm just scared.
At what, 78% now?
So I'm on 538, which every year I tell myself I won't look at, but they're at 83. But they keep on saying, "Oh, the dark blue counties haven't reported yet."
Yeah, it's getting there.
83% in, did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. This is totally not.
What do you
How are
use?
things looking?
Yeah, what do you see?
I see. It wants me to go to security and privacy to select. It says I can't. Okay, I go to screen share. I hit desktop, but it says allow Zoom to screen share. Open system preferences.
And then
so
there,
then I go to grant access, and then I don't know how to grant access. I guess that's the question. And it doesn't. It says screen record.
is that in the settings?
Yeah, under security and privacy. I'm sorry, maybe someone else should go while I mess around with this.
Yeah, let's go. That's a good idea. Steve, you're up.
Steve. All right, let's see if I have issues here. All right, desktop one, share.
It's looking for
Allows-
votes.
Oh, geez. And now this is having me give Zoom permission to share my screen. So
There must be some new version of Zoom that went out. That's
Yeah, I
That's
think that's what
giving-
happened. So
I
I think
think so.
we're all gonna have a
Yeah,
problem.
System preferences, under share, right? Sharing.
yeah, but now it's having me quit Zoom and reopen. So I'll be right back.
Ah,
It's, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Vote-
Screen sharing.
Trying to find those votes.
okay. So, Jess,
Okay.
we're gonna go with you next if you want to give it a go.
I'll probably have the same issues. New computer too. So yeah, I'm getting a
Oh, I did do an update for Zoom like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
There was one pretty
installed this
recently.
one.
Yeah, there's some coming out like now.
Yeah, I canceled mine
Oh, there we go.
from updating just now,
Okay. Was
just
that Steve or was
No, that was me just trying to share my screen.
that? Okay.
So you saw my
Okay,
countdown.
so
Yeah, it looks like I have to quit and then restart.
all right,
Okay.
I'll try again.
Sounds
So,
like everyone's gonna have to do that.
You
Yeah,
want to
so
see some
Bernie-
pictures I took last year?
so
It's like the hold music.
Ernie, Kent, Ellen, and Jan and Brian, if you guys want to kind of attempt this and see how far you can get.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Oh,
see
that's
photos
pretty.
now.
oh,
Who's
this is
that?
Steve.
That's me.
There you go.
What in the heck? What
If you
is
don't
this?
want to leave yet, though, you guys, I totally get it, and we can just, see how it goes.
We can hold out if we want people. I think.
No, let
Maybe.
Steve go.
Okay, you want me to go?
yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So I took the opportunity when I signed up for this to do a trip to Yosemite that day. I was planning on doing it at some point, and when this came up, I'm like, well, that'll be the day.
Wow.
So I left Sacramento at like 2:30 in the morning to get there before dawn, and
Wow.
decided to go out of my comfort zone. I'm more of a portrait guy, and I wanted to push myself into some landscape and that kind of thing. So that's what I did, and I accepted my own challenge, and the universe also accepted my challenge and proceeded to bitch slap me at every turn, it seems. But I got a couple of images, and this one I kind of liked. Again, it's outside of my comfort zone.
That's beautiful.
But this was in a partially frozen river just below kind of the eastern end of El Capitan. This log was frosted, as were all of the grasses and whatnot in that little meadow, which is beautiful. And I liked the single leaf that was sitting in here and kind of literally frozen in time. And it gave a really beautiful softness to this stump, I guess. And this was interesting because my tripod was 2 legs on the ice, one leg off the ice, and my 2 legs off the ice because it wasn't very thick ice. And in fact, to set my aperture and shutter speed, I had to take pictures of the lens of my phone kind of reaching around the front, so I didn't get myself too wet. But anyway, I really like the way that this kind of really soft gray background kind of held the frost on top. But that's my picture.
You know, Steve,
Can I start by saying I love it? Like, love this.
Yeah.
And
I like the texture of it.
yeah, and I think sometimes when you're taking a picture and you're like kind of like in some precarious situation, something comes through the picture, and other people can feel that, and I can feel that with this.
Oh, wonderful.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
What else happened in that 8-hour trek?
Well, it was more when I got back. I was trying to channel my inner Ansel Adams, and I brought my 8x10 Kodak Master View with me, and inadvertently grabbed a couple of holders that I hadn't tested for leaks. Yeah, I exposed 5 total 8x10 sheets, 2 of which were total light leaked. 2 others suffered an even more egregious fate. I used some Rodinol. I never use Rodinol, but I used some really old Rodinol, like from the 60s, that I had actually put into an old bleach bottle and apparently had not completely cleaned out the bleach, maybe. And so those 2 sheets that went through my Jobo drum completely cleared off the emulsion. So so that's what I mean. The universe kind of slapped me pretty hard, brought me down. But I did also expose a bunch of 4x5 sheets. This was one of them. This, I think, was Delta 100. In fact, this was also using a camera that I recently purchased from Nicole White, who is not here today, but a nice old Zone 6 Wista wooden 4x5. But anyway, and then here I am bearing my soul to all the photographers, using a grad neutral density filter, a leaf filter. I put that damn thing on backwards, so what was once a 3-stop difference between the sky and the foreground was now a 6-stop difference. So the negatives were not very kind to me.
Steve, maybe you should have just taken a picture from your bed in the morning.
I probably should have just taken a picture from my bed.
But,
Yep.
But that are you gonna do it again now?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a pilgrimage now for you.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it was beautiful. I had a really nice close encounter with a coyote, which was really cool. But yeah, no, it was a beautiful day. It was cold, but yeah, I don't regret going at all. So
No, I think there's something great. This image is both very still and like very tortured as well. You know, that what's happened to that log, like over however much time, which is just kind of like contorting, and you have a little bit of ripple in the background, or is that frozen water? And then of course like that one leaf, which probably hasn't lived a particularly long life, and how it's all frozen together. Just like kind of perfect New Year's.
Yeah.
This looks so much like something you would see under like an electron microscope.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when you first brought this up, I was thinking like, oh, that's neat. That's like something, you know, completely done through like a microscope, and it's like, you know, probably like a piece of a germ or something, and then pulling it back, like just because the frost is on there, and noticing that like the one thing that isn't totally abstract is that leaf, and then, you know, a bit of the water in there.
I'm really getting lost in the inky blacks of the water in the foreground in that lower section. There's such a great range of blacks down there, and it also, like the whole rest of the picture, it is very tactile. Looking at it gives me a physical sensation. You know, it's black, but you can tell it's ice. You can see texture. I think your command of the tonal range is fantastic, and
He's so good.
Yeah,
So good at that. Seriously.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
guys. There was a beautiful reflected light coming off of the rock face across the river on the back side of it too, that just kind of gave it this beautiful reflected glow.
About what time was it when you made this?
This was probably, gosh, around 9:30 or 10 o'clock in the morning. The sun was getting up to where most of the rock face was being illuminated on the north side of the valley. But the the actual valley itself was still very much in shade and very much in cold.
Yeah.
It was a raw cold, and man, I grew up in New England, and since I've been out here since '97, my blood has thinned quite a bit.
Did you grab any like meta photos documenting the trip down, or?
Oh, for sure. I was totally Instagramming the whole thing too.
All right, I gotta go back and take a look.
Yeah, it's probably gone by now, but yeah, I can send you a couple if you're interested.
For sure.
I did take some shots of this setup because I kind of was chuckling to myself, the precariousness of it.
It's funny. I think you texted me one, and I don't know if you guys can hear me. I just got an internet unstable line. And I totally thought you were just like on a road with an ice chunk. I didn't realize you were on a river.
Yeah.
That's great. All right.
All right. So stop sharing.
Steve, that was awesome.
All
Thanks
right,
for the kind words, guys.
Yeah. Kendra, do you want to
I'm
give
gonna
it a
try
go?
again.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. It's not, oh my God, it gave me the same thing. I went and changed the system preferences. Oh, maybe I do this. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Okay, go to someone else. I just figured out what I needed to do.
All right, Jess, you're up.
Okay, I'll try. Let's see. Oh, share.
All right. Success.
Yay.
Woohoo.
So I wanted to experiment with some light painting in the dark. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Harold Ross. He does love light painting of still life. So yeah, I just set up some black paper in my bedroom over my bed and taped this on this leaf. I did calla lily as well. I taped this onto some poles and felt around the poles so that wouldn't show up. And then just did long exposure, and maybe this one was probably about 10 seconds or so. And I took a flashlight and just went all around the leaf.
Wow.
It's gorgeous.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very trippy effect. It's like I'm not sure if like the leaf is curling back or forward, and it kind of looks like it's a little bit of both, but it's very cool and it's beautifully done.
The illumination of the edges almost make it look superimposed, like it's multimedia.
Yeah, I was made a point because when my idea in my head was to try to get the ripples to be more highlighted. And so I went behind the leaf a little bit on the back of the leaf and the side to try to get the ripples. That's probably why the edges are really bright.
Yeah, the lighting and the shadows are, because you did light painting, they're sort of unearthly. They don't, the highlights and shadows don't fall where we would intuitively expect them to fall. So that gives it that unearthly sense, but at the same time, we recognize the leaf, but it's kind of the leaf from Mars.
Right. Yeah.
I've been playing around more with collage lately, and at first I thought it was a photograph of a leaf that you cut out and then glued to a background, which I think has to do with, I think Steve was saying, like the high lit edges, giving it that certain je ne sais quoi.
Jessica, are you gonna do a platinum print of this?
I did, but I also changed some of the variables, so it came out a little dark. But yeah, I did do one. It's hard to see probably, but it just came out a little dark.
Cool.
So I have to play with that curve some more.
Are
But
you?
yeah, I mean, that was the impetus of doing this, was trying to get some more photos for palladium printing.
Yeah, it seems like a natural, again, with those kind of unearthly highlights, it seems to my unexpert eye that it would come up nicely in platinum.
All right. So the stop sharing, that's what I need to do, right?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay, I'm gonna try once more. I restarted everything.
Okay.
Go, Kendra.
Oh, desktop share. I have to.
Yay, there we go.
Now where is? Okay, you see it, but where do I see it? Okay. This is. I'm sorry. I'm just. Yeah, but how do I get to?
You can minimize that.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So now
there
we can
go.
see
New
your.
photo. Okay, so unlike everybody else who did beautiful big excursions, I did not do that.
I did the biggest one.
And let's see if I can view. Wait.
Full screen at the bottom.
At the bottom of that menu.
At the bottom
Go to
of.
the file.
File.
Down
Sorry.
there,
Sorry.
and then, oh, sorry.
Go to view.
View, not
View.
Sorry.
Nope, not that view though. This view.
There we go.
Enter full screen. All right.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. I just got up and went and did sunrise up from Bernal Heights, did a walk with my friend. I did shoot some Holga, but I didn't, unlike everybody else who seems to have darkrooms at home and time, and I just couldn't get it all done and together for today. So this is just an iPhone shot. And I did all the pretty sunrise pictures from the top and the dog and the friends and the, you know, and then I was walking back down, you know, to my car and I'm like, oh, this is more interesting than anything I shot up there. So it just was my morning. This is just basically what I saw in the morning. And there's nothing profound about it, but it was my, I just like the graphic and the color and the light from, you know, behind in the morning. And the
fact that the car matches the
door, yeah. And I had shot some tighter, but I actually really like the street, the yellow in the street too.
I like that too.
Yeah.
So I left it wider.
I also really like how the color of the Volvo on the left matches the color of the house on the right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Kind of bookending everything.
Yeah, with that kind of gray blue.
Yeah.
And I would add the yellow paint on the street and kind of that gray, it's not gray, but like a blue, dark gray matches the house, the dark blue house and the yellow house next to it.
Right. It's all very color coordinated.
Yeah.
And the green bin in the middle.
It really works well.
Thank you. Thank you. And so it was, and sort of like Jenny, unlike I did get out of bed, but I did like, okay, I got to take a picture. What is it going to be? What is it going to be? And I kind of went, you know, anyway, but so, but I look
Yeah, you never know where you're going to get the good one.
Right. I do look forward to seeing what I got on the Holga and the other, you know, the black and white stuff I shot, but that was not going to be ready for today because I'm just not quite that organized.
Kind of the sensation I get from this is one of sort of surprise or discovery, that moment of, like you described it, like looking up and just seeing these harmonious pieces kind of coming together on their own.
Right.
And you kind of, looking at the picture, you, same thing, have the sense of discovery of like, oh, look, there's this element, that element, there's these lines, converging lines and unconverging lines and matching colors and unmatching colors. And makes you think that there is a secret harmony to the world that we have not yet discovered.
That would be nice. Well, it was also, I walked up on it and I'm like, oh, this would be a lot better in the afternoon. But I actually kind of like it with it, you know, all in the shade and the blown out in the, you know, the sun in the back blowing out. So, because it was so backlit. Anyway.
It's funny. It's also like such a typical
San Francisco picture.
San Francisco. Well, the architecture of it, of them completely matching. But when you look at it a long time, it almost seems like they forgot to finish the buildings.
Right.
There needs to be a roof peak or something on them.
Yeah.
Right.
But of course, there's so many of those, like the boxes, you know, little boxes. That's kind of what I think about too.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It is. And yeah, so that was my New Year's morning.
That's great.
The biggest push is that it's not a picture of a dog.
Well, we'll see those in a couple months.
Right? And I figured out how to do it. So that's the biggest amazing of it all, is now next time I do this, I'll actually be able to.
Right.
Excellent.
So,
I have to go. So leave, stop sharing. There we go.
All right. Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is Ernie.
Okay, let's see if it's my turn to mess up here. Share screen. I don't know what the hell that is. Oh, okay. Do you see it?
Not yet.
No? Okay. All right, maybe, yeah, I'm just going straight from my my iPhone. I didn't like do a thumbnail. Huh. All right, so share screen. Oh, I got to share.
You're sharing.
I don't know, are you seeing it or not?
Yeah.
We're seeing it.
Boom.
Okay, cool.
Boom. That is a great.
Yeah, this is Holga, like Kendra. I didn't venture very far. It's like a block and a half away from where I live, and too many people not wearing masks. So I wanted to get the hell back into my apartment. So basically, I went to photograph this graffiti torn poster. So I started off doing tight shots and then moving back, and so I want to step back to do an overall photo of the whole thing. And one, I stepped back to get out of the way of somebody not wearing a mask walking by. And then, a minute or two later, this person happened to walk by, and I was still kind of farting around with the camera, and I just, like a grab shot. But everything was kind of preset. So it kind of worked out, I thought.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's a lot we can read into this. We don't know what she's actually doing, but yes, I have been to Would You Believe cocktails, and I kind of miss it.
Right. That was.
But
Yeah,
I love how it very much looks like she could be on her way there again. And then there's just this whole like beautiful kind of graffiti mess. Like she's very much seems like she's in between.
Yeah, she was definitely concentrating on her whatever their cell phone was telling her.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just, but it just kind of happened so quickly, that I literally just brought the camera to my eye and, did a quick, snap. And anyway, so yeah, this was, I think, the 7th exposure of the roll.
And that plastic camera effect is really working well, of the vignetting around the edges and the, like the text at the top of Would You Believe kind of falling off.
Right.
And the parking meter falling off. And yes, that's.
Yeah, it's just like, even though I've been using these cameras for a while, you don't, what you see in the viewfinder, there's more to it. And sometimes when I was looking in the viewfinder, I did not see the parking meter at all. So, so sometimes it adds surprises, that are good. And other times you go, I wish that whatever it is wasn't there.
I don't like the parking meter so much. And then there's actually another parking meter on the left hand side of the frame.
Oh yeah.
So you got your bookends there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
To me, this tells a dystopian story. I mean, you've got the joy on that smiling face on the mural that's been essentially it's being ripped apart and slowly, ripped off. The gesture of the walking person head down, we don't see the phone, so it makes them look kind of despondent. You've got the presence of government with that parking meter,
right?
And then the question: Would you believe cocktails are still available? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it's all framed beautifully with that awning, and down below with the shadow of the car.
And the different colored sidewalk squares kind of matches the awning as well.
Right. And not to mention you have just part of a face in that in the graffiti that's kind of been ripped off and up to the eyes and to the teeth. That's kind of like this ever present.
Sorry. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's like
Go
an
ahead,
ever present
Ryan.
person watching.
Yeah, because it's been up there for a while, and so the weather and people defacing it. It's kind of been studying it for a couple of weeks, And so this was an opportune time to break out the Holga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I usually go to Sutro Baths on the first day of.
Oh, you're gonna get one of those.
But I'm not taking public transportation, and I can walk one way, but I don't think I can walk round trip. I don't think I have the stamina. Anyway, thank you, folks.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Ernie.
Ernie.
Thanks, Ernie.
All right. So up next
James.
we have Kent.
All right, let me do the screen sharing lottery and see if it works. All right. Assuming everyone can see, shout if you can't. So this is me showing and telling. I've been working a lot, since lockdown on the various views, like out my window and things that sort of just exist in front. So this was a piece I did, of course, on New Year's Day. I'm a sentimental old fool, and I love Christmas and kind of have a problem when it passes. And there's this sort of thing that happens on, like, what realm are we in? So I do these little collage notebook things in this big old notebook that I have. And this was one of the ones I did. I did like 3 or 4 on Christmas, or on New Year's Day, but this is the one that I haven't shown anywhere yet. So I thought I'd put it here.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, it's really striking. That's great.
Mad respect for you people that can actually like look beyond the single frame
Yeah.
and make art. I'm just like in total awe of this.
Thank you. Part of it is just this sense that, when you look at a single photograph, which, I'm not quite as good at taking, is that, you're in a realm where the entire world is that, that one lens, that one piece of film. And often when I look at things, there are different things going on, right? Like there's how you feel about the past, the present, there's, what you focus on, in foreground and background. And yeah, it's just kind of what makes sense.
And you do a lot of collage art too, so your eye is kind of used to seeing things in that way, is my assumption.
Yeah, I like layering. Layering's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a total fanboy, and what really pulls me in is the window perspective is kind of flattened, even though it's not in the color to the black and white, and it's not, none of the lines line up, but you're pulled into that plant, which kind of pulls it, like, I don't know, in my brain it works. It doesn't, like the window is like different lens to a different camera, and it's out. Yeah, I'm still digesting it, so
yeah.
I
also that
Oh,
sorry, just for context, that what you're seeing, which looks like a plant, it's actually a bulb tree, which was made by my great grandmother back in the Depression. So it's a kind of a Christmas tree made of like Christmas bulbs.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I photograph, I scan with the iPhone, so things it's kind of not as sharp as it should be.
No, but what I was trying to get at, you can see the windowsill in the black and white, on the Instax, and then it's it's a straight shot out, but on the color square, it's it's off angle, but the frame of the Polaroids and the Instax are forcing that rectangle and that square, but the window just kind of melts in the background. For me.
For me, it's like looking at somebody's beautiful ring. Like I just want to stare at it, and it's all like there's all kinds of things going on. It's like a jewel.
I love the quality of the color. There's something about how the particular hues of color that are, they just feel so good to look at. I don't know. Yeah, I just, how the colors rendered in the color Polaroid are just super yummy. I don't know.
Is that a paintbrush standing up?
I'll take that yummy.
Yeah, that's so like this is the desk where I work during the day, and at nights and weekends do like my collage work. So yeah, I put my paint brushes there to dry, and so it's all sort of smashed up together.
It reminds me of a cubist painting where you have within the same frame, you have like these windows of different color on the same subject and different angles all at the same time. It kind of reminds me of that. And I love that. And especially with the bits of angles confined in those frames from the windowsill and the shadow. Yeah, I love that.
I feel like I could pick up that Instax Mini and use it as a lens and go across, and everything would be in black and white in that frame. Kind of like what was that cult sci-fi movie, Them or something, where he?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
you know, yeah.
That's the best movie ever.
But then also, I love the symbolism of that paintbrush. It's like you just got done painting all the colors on that one, you know. And I just keep seeing more stuff as long as I look at it longer. It's really, really awesome.
Right on. I should also mention that I'm only showing one image. That Instax is actually on a hinge. So if you have the notebook, you can actually flip it and you actually see the other side, and then another Instax version of that view on the left. And the text changes too. But
Do you have a scan of that? Because I feel like, you know,
I don't, but I can show it real quick. I wasn't sure if this is like,
okay. Show us.
let me
Really
just
spotlight that video.
Spotlight, yeah, I can't spotlight it for me, but
I need to
maybe too close.
Oh,
It
there we
doesn't
go.
change that much, but I thought it was kind of fun because you could stop and you could even view it halfway and see the whole.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh wow.
The whole thing as
Super
it is,
cool.
you know.
That's cool.
Very cool.
I like
Love
art
it.
that can be played with.
Yeah.
When's the book coming out?
The pop-up book as soon as I can afford it.
Yeah, you know, I'm there in line.
That was great. Thank you, Kent.
Cool. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Ellen, you're next.
All right, I gotta follow that. Oh my gosh. All right, so. Can you all see
Ooh,
that?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Awesome. Okay. So I actually live 2.5 hours northeast of San Francisco in a little town called Nevada City. And the Yuba River is
Can I
about
interrupt for a second? Ellen, your screen. There you go.
There we go.
Was that
Yeah.
just me? Was that just
Okay.
No, I thought too.
Thank you.
Okay, sweet. My connection might be fiddly, but yeah, so yeah, I live about 15-20 minutes away from a river called the Yuba River, and it is a magnificent river to photograph. It's got all these wonderful granite boulders and textures, and the color of the water is this really beautiful great jade green most of the year. And yeah, and it's just every time I go, there's something that is very different. I see something really different. And so when I went out photographing on New Year's Day, there was the river was low, and it revealed all these little waterfalls, and I had never seen one quite like it before. But the water level was high enough that these two rocks at the top, they kind of formed a dam, and there was a little hole for the water to kind of force its way through. And then the light shone through the water, and so you could see the color of the water like almost underneath it as it was pushing its way through the rocks. And I just really related to this, because I feel like this has been like 2020 for me, where there's just this intense, difficult pressure, and it's hard to like maneuver through it, but water finds a way, and we found a way to kind of navigate 2020. And so
I like it.
Yeah. It's very meditative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like how the rocks kind of almost seem to form the blades of an aperture too, if you kind of look right.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of...
I love getting lost in all that texture of the water. It's like clouds, it's blurry, but you can see through it. Kind of reminds me of the bay. It really it pulls me in to explore it. And then you've got all that gorgeous rock around it that's so very solid and still. It's really nice. It's a nice place to just have your eye wander around. I would love that on my wall. I could stare at it over and over again.
Oh, thank you. So, and when I do go shooting on the Yuba, I actually do kind of treat it as kind of a meditative time. I mean, it's like I can easily spend, 20, 30 minutes getting the composition, just right, and then playing with the f-stop and the shutter speeds to kind of get the feel of the texture of the water. And then once I get that all set, I'll just take multiple photos, because each photo is so different from the water. So,
Ellen, what was the shutter speed here ish?
this one, I think this one is about a half a second.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just long enough to give a little bit of texture, or just short enough to give texture, but just long enough to make it a little bit soft.
Yeah, it's a nice juxtaposition of that kind of inviting water and then the solidity of the granite around it. And go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, not to get too environmental, is that like a natural bridge, or is that would there also be water flowing over those rocks and through those rocks? Because that you said it was low, and that I can see some green in just peeking at the top, which actually is pulling me in more, because there's like something not water, not rock, but more alive in the background.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, so that actually is the color of the river, because it's kind of dammed up a little bit behind those rocks, and it's but yeah, no, I mean, it's the color of the river is this crazy beautiful great jade green a good portion of the time. But yeah, and those rocks, they're actually not very big, and that little opening, it's like it's not that big. It's probably not more than 8 inches big or wide.
The hole.
The hole, yeah.
And so like in the spring, would all those rocks be covered with water, like from snow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So.
Is this a particular spot on the river that you go back to? Like, do you like this particular spot, or did you find it when you were did you just come upon it?
So this was actually the first time I'd gotten this far, because usually I'll hike up the river and then go, oh, that's why I love that spot. Oh, look at that lighting. And then, and then I get sucked into it. And then, that's where I'm at. But this time I pushed myself to go a little bit further and explore more. So, yeah. And this one, it's like I wasn't quite as precarious as Steve, who went to Yosemite, but I was actually standing in the middle of the river on this huge flat rock, and it was at a bit of a slope, I mean, it was a pretty mild slope, but it was enough that if I took a step, I would look behind me and then take a step to make sure I don't like step back into the water.
Love it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
That water.
Oh, yeah, no, the
water.
color of the water is white. I think it's serpentine is the mineral that kind of gives it that color. There's a lot of gold up in, you know, and then their hills. So, which serpentine is indicative anyway. So.
Great.
All right.
All righty. Thanks so much, Ellen.
All right, thanks.
All right, Jan Watton. Come on down. You're
Unmute myself. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Oh, this is a hard act to follow because, you know, I did not go to Yosemite. I did not go any place special. So it's a very simple image. And can you see this? Can you see?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, you know, typically I'm photographing in black and white with my Holga, which I did do later in the day and a bit last week. But this is just a really simple image that I took when I was on a hike in the Redwood Regional Park. And I turned, just the sun was setting and I turned and I looked down the path and it just had this, I don't know, there was a glow about the road and it just was sort of not to, you know, sound cliche or anything, but like there was this future and my daughter was with me and we were talking about New Year's Day and all these things. So it's all sort of wrapped up into this. And so it's just a very simple image that, you know, of a road going wherever it's going. And I wish I could say it was done with my Hasselblad, but or a better camera, but it's just my iPhone. So, but I happen to like this image a lot because I think it's very simple and
the light is beautiful.
Yeah, the light was really beautiful at that particular moment. You know, where there's that moment when the sun is setting and everything gets hit. It was like the streak of light just happened to be right there. So it was quite lovely. So it was just you know, I didn't go out of my way to make special images. I'm sorry, Jenny.
No, I hope I didn't want that to be.
Yeah. This was my day. This is what I saw in my day. And so that's what it was sort of about. So it's sort of a moment in Jan's life on New Year's Day. And I like the fact that it's a little bit mysterious. It's sort of like this, you know, where's the road going to take us this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does have a tension or a mystery to it.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see it in black and white. I didn't do it in black and white. I just kept it in color.
I like the colors of the bushes there, though. I think the colors.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I like the color. I like that the path turns,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can kind of see just to the right of where it turns.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a little darkness to where the path is.
Yeah.
And it just kind of to me, that gives a little more mystery to it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since it's kind of turning away from that beautifully lit hillside on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And dare I say that it's ominous that way, but
No, I think it is. You know, I turned around and I was taking, you know, pictures of my daughter doing, you know, the pictures of the sunset and a nice little moment of cliche, you know, photo in a photo. And then I turned and I saw this and it really was that kind of like, oh, look at this. There's no one up here. We're by ourselves. And it just had, you know, there's something about New Year's Day where it kind of, you know, you're thinking, or for me, you know, I'm thinking about the future and we're thinking about all the different things that are going on in our lives. And I'm trying to be hopeful about the future. I'm not sure if that's, you know, where we are, but I was trying to be that day. And so when I saw this path going that way, that's what it made me feel.
That's awesome.
I always love, and I love about this photograph too, like the gradient of color changes, you know, in the scene. So you've got like the color of the pathway, the dead brush, and then a little bit of dirt, and then all the different kind of brush of different hues. And this is all kind of on the left side going up, and then like a richer green. Like that always draws me in. Like I'm so attracted to that kind of flow of just what nature provides on its own, you know.
And I really also really love photographs of roads going off into the distance, you know, that has been done historically. And I love that. People who have done that in photographic history. And so this is sort of an homage to that moment of like going down the road. So
yeah, I never get tired of those.
Yeah, it's kind of classic, a little cliche, but it's classic.
Imagine this image like smack in the middle of the day with harsher light.
Yeah.
It would have a very different effect. It would not be as evocative. But
yeah, it's
these
true.
kind of gentle tones are both kind of inviting you to examine the image, but then not really giving away its secrets. You got to go find them.
Yeah.
Right. I took a few pictures just a little bit after that when the sun, when it was really setting, and there were these like just glimmers of light, and it was just a special like half an hour actually of time. It was pretty gorgeous up there in the park. So
it was such a nice day.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. So, and I hadn't been in this park. Sorry for a second there. Can you take that? I haven't been in this park, the Redwood Regional, in years, and sort of like discovering a new path that I haven't been on. So it was very cool. It was very cool.
The bushes that are laid to waste on the left-hand side, I've just been looking at them for the past few minutes.
You know what was so weird about that, Brian? They were all cut.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
You could see that. Can you see that? They were all like
laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trail maintenance. It's like classic trail maintenance, but it's like laid to waste, kind of drying out off into the sunset.
Yeah, it's true. It was very odd, and they were all like severed. And if you looked at the other side, there's a neat row of like where they were all cut. It was very interesting. I hadn't seen that on a trail.
Yeah, I mean, it again, it's like classic trail maintenance. They're like trimming away so the joggers and the cyclists can get around, but it's hasn't been picked up yet.
Yeah.
It also looks like it's going downstream.
Right.
It looks like the flow of the dead branches is going downstream, and then it stops just before that turn, which could be very metaphorical.
Could be. You could read a lot into this photo.
Yeah, January 20th could be that turn.
Oh, God.
We all are.
I can hardly wait. Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. That's great.
Okay, so stop sharing.
All right. And now, yes, Brian, there is room for you.
Oh, thank you. Let me make sure I at least have it up. Here we go. So I told you that there would be a Citro Baths picture here. So I always try to do some sort of adventure on New Year's Day, and I made mine this year, since we really shouldn't be going out, to just walk down to Citro Baths, which is not that far from me. And I originally went to photograph the Cliff House, and the photograph, since the Cliff House is no more, and they actually took the letters down New Year's Eve at 12 o'clock, at 12 noon, they took it down. So I went and I photographed the letters not being there, but wasn't that much of a picture, but this was a picture I took when I turned myself around and looked the other way. And, you know, just an image that, you know, I try to photograph everything 4x5 and 2s, so I can more easily remember what plate I've shot. But yeah, this is just an image that I saw and photographed it, and was fairly happy how it turned out, other than the numerous dust spots, because I developed it in my garage with that crappy mono bath. But yeah.
Sort of like a sister or brother image to Jan's.
Yeah.
With that trail.
Yeah.
Well, and I was just gonna say, like, you were shooting in the opposite direction and you turned around and saw this,
Right.
which is exactly what Jan did also,
Yeah.
and which is a little bit like what Kendra did.
Yep.
And I mean, I know that for me, I have had, I have made some of my favorite pictures
still
by
there?
doing that.
She just froze.
Lost you, Jenny.
But I'll jump in. I'm a sucker for Northern California, especially the Presidio, and this is a silhouette I've seen so many times, like skating Fort Miley. This is Land's End. You could see those stupid tourists gonna fall down the cliff. Sorry. Like I peace out to people, just like I always tell people, like, don't get too close, you will fall and die.
Right.
Those people are way out there ready to fall and die. I
think there was one a couple days ago.
Well, there was in Jenner. They got the family got swept out, but yeah, it's yeah, I love it. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's that you hike on this trail and you're like clod, you know, and the trees in the distance. Love it.
Brian, what kind of lens were you using? I love the fall off in the foreground that kind of leads you right down that path.
Yeah, so it was a 150 lens on an Intrepid, but I raised the front up quite a bit and then kind of tilted it forward, mainly just because if I didn't, there would have been a bit of a barrier, like a concrete barrier that would have been in the shot. But this way I was able to raise it up and get a little bit better, you know, something that like photographing with a 4x5 has been my pandemic project. And something that I've never really thought about is tilting the front and back to kind of mess with the focus and get that, you know, front part out of focus and the rest of it in focus. Is still something I'm experimenting quite a bit with, just because, you know, I've never had that option before.
I think it works beautifully here, and it also kind of gives it a retro feel, like it's, you know, older optics that you used or whatnot, but it just really works well.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, especially on the brush on the right, you know, that's yeah. It's and the trees are just fucking love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I used to live at 46th in Lincoln, so I would walk up and do this walk a lot, and you know, that brings it all back to me. But there's something about this that looks really mythic, which I love, almost like like the after a battle and
right.
Film.
It's just the right amount.
Yeah, it's great
of ruins, and not only that, but the footsteps. You know, through that muddy area, and it was definitely not a nice day to be photographing, but at least out there. But you know, it's the old photographer's thing of, you know, like the worst the worse the weather, the better the photographs. Definitely made it up for it.
Yeah, I honestly don't even feel that it feels so much like a Sutro shot, because it's hiding there. You know, you have to know.
Right.
You know, you see the pipe and you see some concrete, and if you don't know where those people are up in there or where the cave is, you can't really tell. It's so ruiny. It's a little. Yeah, I mean, it's Northern California.
Yeah.
What time of day is this?
This was probably around noon, actually, I would say.
Okay.
But I mean, it was wet and gross and out there that day. So, you know, the fog was just everywhere. So, you know, you couldn't tell what time of day.
Right. That's why I asked. I'm like,
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because it was so sunny on the other side of the city.
Oh yeah.
I know that's what I was just thinking. Like,
I was up at Bernal and it was stunning all morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was gnarly. It was foggy on the top of Hill 88.
Oh gosh. Yeah. It's you know, definitely microclimates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can't wait until I can get back into a dark room and print this. Well, excellent.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, thank you. I'll stop my share.
I am having internet issues, so sorry about that. So that is our list. Does anyone else want to add in or show another? We have a few more minutes.
I'll jump in there.
Nice.
I'll share what I shot on New Year's Day.
Okay, yeah. One picture from New Year's Day. That's the only requirement.
That's what I got. Hold on. All right.
So funny. The other shot I was considering showing was a trail shot too.
It's so inviting to photograph a trail.
Totally. Oh, cool.
All right. So this is zoomed in. There you go. All right. So for the past 20 years, well, since I've been doing it, there's a tradition to ride your bicycle to the top of Hill 88 in Marin. If you're a San Francisco cyclist, you would ride your bike across the bridge up. Normal days, this would be a big party, and you'd see lots of cyclists climbing that tower, doing a bunch of shenanigans. Everyone packs in food, packs in beers, drinks. It's a party all day. This was this Hill 88 ride.
Wow.
There's everybody. I did see friends going up there. Everyone like nodded out, took a drink at the top, and rode home. Very solemn. This is
how tall is that?
Hill 88.
No, the tower.
The
The structure there.
I don't know, 58, 60 feet.
Whoa.
But this is one of the dishes. It's a missile based command. Long story short, there's a lot of shenanigans going on up here. This is the most calm I've ever seen it. And normally it's packed. There's a lot of cycling, but people again riding around, like multi-generational. This is Marin, the birth of mountain bike riding, so there's people doing shenanigans. So this is what I look forward to every New Year's Day. And this is shot on my Samsung, not iPhone.
I mean, what's so great is that this would be like, so what? What is this? Without the story. But with the story, it's great. I mean, I kind of like it anyway, actually, but.
Me too. I like the little face coming around and like looking and seeing what's next, and then the tower on the on the left side.
Ooh.
No, I think it's.
Do you know why it's called Hill 88?
It's a military, because it's in the Marin Headlands, so it's a military base. So that's the small radio dish. There's a larger one. There's a bunker behind it that they used to wait for the Russians or the Japanese to come and get you.
Huh.
And launch missiles. But years past, that used to be a flat surface and people would ride their bikes around in circles. On top of this is a small one. This is the only picture I shot of this. So
how would they get up there if it's 50 feet high?
Oh no, the tower is 50 feet. That's like 10 feet.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. All right.
Shenanigans ensue.
Right, I know, but 10 feet getting onto is easier than 50 feet.
Well, up on that tower, you could do an internet search of Hill 88 tower, and you can find people taking pictures from the top of that.
Okay.
in seconds flat.
Yeah.
But it's one of the highest points, besides the incoming flight tower from SFO, which is behind this shot. This is where but it's a nice bike ride up. It's like 2,000 feet straight up. So
it's such a hard area, I find, to photograph, at least for me, because like whenever I'm up there, I can't really figure out how to get everything in range. And I really like this idea of having it in kind of like this 16:9 ratio, where you have that weird structure in the middle that nobody would know, what's that for if you didn't give them any context, and then the tower. But you also have like such a nice sky that kind of centers everything into it.
And when you were shooting your 4x5 way down on that fog, to the tower,
you were above it.
Yeah. I mean, just peeking out.
Yeah.
So, but thanks. This is what I do every year for the past 20 years. I make it a point to be back in the Bay Area, to come up here and touch the stone.
Very cool. Thanks, Brian.
Brian, can I ask you a off-topic question? Did your shirt where it says "Stay home and listen to jazz"? Did you get that pre-pandemic or post?
This is during pandemic.
Okay.
Because we're not post yet.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely not post, but
this is a Stereo Skateboard reboot shirt. Out of Stereo Skateboards.
Oh, nice.
So Chris Bastris, Jason Lee, their program out of LA. Cool. But yeah, stay home and listen to jazz.
I love it.
Cool. All right. We're at an hour. I think it's almost, we have 5 minutes if anyone wants to go. Otherwise,
if I may.
Yeah.
Okay, let me. Is it showing up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm cheating here. I took this couple of days before the New Year's. I make a Christmas card not Christmas card, New Year's card every year. So this is the one for this year. like early on in the pandemics when we were locked up and I got bored, I created this series about aliens invading my house. And the last picture of that was the one with the blue band getting banded and released back in my backyard. And I sort of revisited that series for my New Year's card. So this is my message to everyone: let your next year be kind and nice. And I want to wish you Happy New Year.
I'll have one of those cookies right now.
I'm scared by the aliens.
Yeah, I like the aliens.
In a good way.
What are the legs of the aliens again?
Sorry?
What are the legs of the aliens? Something from your garden?
That's airplanes. But
Oh, airplanes. That is awesome.
Not on an airplane.
Funny.
Yeah. Well, this is a really nice message, nice way to end the session.
Yeah. Vince, do you have any closing words of wisdom for us?
I definitely do not have any words of wisdom, but I do want to encourage everyone to sign up to present your work at a future show and tell. And I put the sign up sheet link in the chat. It is open to all of you, and it's just a fun experience to show your work and to share what you're doing. We really would love to see what you're doing. Yeah, lots coming up for EBPCO, and so keep your eye on the newsletter. If you're not getting the newsletter, again, get in contact with me, vince@epco.org. We're doing just about to launch a really fun program with Oakland School for the Arts. Some students from there, we're going to take them through a portfolio program that's going to end up with an exhibition at Panorama Framing, and that's just kicking off on Friday. And that's our first ever student program, something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. And Brooks Fletcher is sort of the artist in chief for that, who's going to be working with the students. And our sponsors are throwing in some printing services and framing services. So it's going to be a real special experience. So we'll welcome your participation. We might not have a real opening, but if we do have like an online opening, I hope you'll all show up and support these students. But yeah, watch the newsletter. If you're not getting the newsletter, get a hold of me, vince@epco.org. Sign up for show and tell. Say thank you to Jenny Sampson for being so awesome.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. And
Thanks,
it's really
Jenny.
nice to see a handful of new faces here. So thank you.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you.
Cool.
All right,
See
so
y'all
we'll see
soon.
you in 2 weeks on Vince's birthday, the 19th.
Yeah.
All right.
Can't wait.
We're all gonna sit and we'll all sing happy birthday to him.
No, we won't.
And I'll eat a birthday
practicing.
cake for you.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, everybody. See you soon.
All right,
Stay
thank you.
healthy.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.